is Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. We are finding there is a health equity gap among them. The American Heart Association indicates they are disproportionately affected by heart disease. Here this morning is Sarah Wan, Executive Director of the Community Youth Center. Sarah, it's good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Sarah, tell me, why is there such a health gap?
Not something new to the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. A lot of times when we look at our community, which is actually very diverse, we're always being seen as one monolithic group. So a lot of times that each individual Asian American and Pacific Islander community has different health issues or other issues has always been overlooked when you just see us as one blanket under all.
Well, then how do we close that gap, and how can we make it some kind of game changer so that there is more equity?
One way we're doing it is we collaborate with other partners in the community, and we were fortunate and honored to be the 2021 American Heart Association Social Impact Fund recipient so that we can use the fund to support our coalition work and providing culturally competent and in-language services and education to our community members in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community so that we can really address their need, including not only health, but also their mental health services that always been overlooked.
So give me some specifics, though, of exactly, people who are in the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, what they need and what they're not getting.
Well, first of all, there's definitely not enough resources that really go into the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. We are very diverse communities that have very different cultural competence and also language needs. And it has been a very limited and really create a lot of barriers to our population to access equitable and also quality healthcare services. I think the other thing is how we actually community can come collective together to raise our voice, and so that we can ask a major stakeholder to put in resources to increase the service that target to our hard to reach Asian Pacific Islander community. And also lastly, how to actually invite us as members to be around the table to provide recommendations and also strategies to a lot of different key stakeholders to make changes in the system so that we can really help to uplift all the voice.
It sounds as though all this change really has to come from within then.
Yes, and not only within, but also how we build bridges with other ethnic community and also build a very strong cross-cultural and cross-racial collaborations so that we can really have a healthy community for all.
Because as you point out, the Asian American community and Pacific Islanders, it's so diverse, and I'm sure there are cultural differences that may be roadblocks for some and for others not. But is that part of it as well?
Yes, definitely. I think for where we are in San Francisco, 1/3 our population is actually Asian American and Pacific Islander population. However, we still have experienced major barrier with language access as well as cultural competence service. So I think it's really hard to imagine even other part in the nations how our community members actually can really reserve their service in a very cultural competent way. For example, like mental health service is a major stigma. Without someone who can speak the language, to understand the culture, it will be a major difficulty for any member to seek that kind of help and services. And unfortunately, many times have wait till that it will getting too late or getting too serious to receive any treatment.
So it sounds as though you need people who are within the community to really reach out and be part of the solution. If people want more information, how do they get it?
People can actually go to the American Heart Association's Social Impact Fund website. It has our organization information and many other AAPI organization information at heart.org/fund.
Sarah, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And keep it right here. We'll be right back.